Listeners, if you have questions about the aftermath of Hurricane Helene here in the Augusta market, we have handpicked a very special guest for episode 16 of season 2. Heather Shepard from Houston is going to talk about the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey in 2017 and how it affected that market. Heather is a very, very successful luxury listing agent selling multi-million dollar homes in the Houston market. She's here to share us all of this knowledge to your benefit. It's an episode you do not want to miss. As always, thanks for listening. Y'all, welcome. Heather, welcome.
Thank you so much.
From Houston. We flew you out here from Houston, Texas.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So a little bit about you, a little bit of validation for the listeners here.
Yes.
We'll talk about why you're sitting in the seat you are. You were in the studio here in Augusta, Georgia. You flew all the way out here. We had dinner last night at Manuel's. You stayed at the Crown Plaza. It was a great time.
Definitely.
So tell everyone, who is Heather Shepard?
Okay. Well, I am a Houston luxury real estate agent. I have been licensed for over 10 years, and I love looking at houses. I love helping my clients find their next dream home, buying or selling. And I have had over 7 million in sales this year so far, and big goals for 2025. And I'm just so happy to be here. And thank you.
What is like your average median sale? What's your median sale average price point? Do you even
Over
know?
1 million.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. So the luxury real estate is what I focus
about 5
on.
of those to get the 1 million typically on a good on a somewhat good day.
Well, Houston is also a really big city.
Yes.
And so there are a lot of expensive houses in different areas. And so I really like to focus on, my clients with those houses. But I also will do some, rentals here and there and different things like that.
We were talking about the $8,000 a month rental.
Yes.
Yeah, so actually I'm curious a little bit. I didn't ask you this last night. We were so all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
What is like so you bring up a tenant for an $8,000 a month property.
Yes.
That was a great story.
I know.
We'll tell it off camera. But what does like the compensation look like for that?
Half of a month's rent.
Half a month's rent. Okay. Yes. Not bad.
It's good. Yeah. It's like quick money.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. So
yes.
And that's a huge rental. I mean, lease agreement. I mean, that's much larger than a lot of commercial here too. And there are some 8,000. There's 30,000 a month.
Right.
Shopping spaces, but yeah. Wow. Okay.
So usually clients like that of mine, they have houses in other parts of the country, like Aspen, Austin, different. And so they just want like a little like place to have in Houston for business, or if they have family there. So it's not like their main home.
Okay.
So.
And so you got 3 kids.
Yes, I do.
2 boys and a girl. The girl's 14, 12, and 10.
12 and 10. Yes.
Right. 2, 2, 2.
2, 2, 2.
What are their sports? Are they playing sports? Are they in instruments?
Yes, sports. We're big into sports. Basketball.
Okay.
Is all 3 of them play basketball. My boys play AAU basketball. So every weekend we have like tournaments and I love watching them. They used to play baseball too. And my daughter played volleyball, but now they really just are doing a lot of basketball.
Do you think the boys got into basketball because their big sister was into basketball?
No, she actually got into it after them.
Okay.
She was kind of trying out a lot of different sports. She ran track and volleyball and did some swimming. And so
I imagine you have you're a suburban mom. You have the suburban. The big the XLT, the Denali, one of those.
Right. I've had a few of those. I need it with all my kids and all their sports stuff.
I love it.
But it's so much fun. Like you'll be there soon before you know it with your little son.
I told my wife I want I don't want Okay, I do kind of like with like a CT, like Cadillac V, like the Escalade V.
Oh, yes.
That would be cool.
Uh-huh.
But I said we're going to be the parents that drive everyone's kids around. Like,
So
don't think I'm not
fun.
thinking about business with the sports,
Oh, yes.
And but my dream big family car is actually like a 1999 Suburban diesel. They make them.
Oh, they do.
They had these big burgundy seats in the back, and these big quilted like stitched leather, and they're like super
Nice.
gaudy. I mean, like everything is burgundy. I mean, like every piece of trim and the inside is burgundy on these things, but they are awesome and they're bulletproof.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't break them. It's crazy.
Might need that in Houston in some
Right.
areas. Seriously.
Have you ever worn a bulletproof vest to go to a showing?
No, but I've been through metal detectors to go to some basketball games and different
We had
in some areas.
We had when I first started a team up, this was like 2 years ago with like my first iteration of it that just ultimately didn't work out. It was like this agent, she was brand new and it was her first showing ever. And I was like, oh, you're going to love it here. It's so great. It's like, we got to lead in. Like, this is exciting. We're going to go show this person a house.
Right.
We're on the front porch, just all three of us. And he had like a little pocket revolver and it just fell down. I don't know if fell through a hole in his pocket, but it just falls down his pant leg, clunks onto the front porch, and it just spins. And the barrel is pointing like right at her feet.
Oh, no.
Welcome to real estate.
Welcome to. That's a great story.
Yeah, that's a shortened version of it. There's a lot that went into it, but anyways, so were you always in the luxury market? Did you really attack it from the beginning, or like what was that what's been your journey like the last 10 years?
Well, I've, really, so I got my license. I used to teach pre-K before I had kids, and I loved it. And I loved like meeting all the parents and teaching the kids. And then I decided I really want to do something that I can make my own schedule. As like a busy mom, it's just, I knew when I had kids, I wanted to be there for my kids, but I also wanted to have a career. And so I got my real estate license, and I was doing a lot of like just kind of deals with family. And then because I had 3 kids like kind of in a row. And so I would do a lot of that. And I really tried to hit the luxury market like from the beginning. But I started with, like some like 500,000, like, a little around between 500,000 and $1 million.
What does 500,000 get you in Houston?
It depends on the area.
Okay.
It can either get you, if you're outside of the city, like
outside the loop,
outside of the city, because Houston, you have Houston, then you have Kingwood, you have Sugarland, you have the Woodlands, like they're all considered Houston.
The Woodlands is a nice area.
There's some very nice areas out there, but you can get a lot more for your money when you go out to those places versus like in the loop in Houston.
Okay.
So it really just depends on what part of Houston.
Okay.
So in some of the nicer areas, you can't even get a lot for 500,000.
Wow.
They're like starting at $1 million at least for just the land without the house. I know. And then builders will buy it, tear down the house, build a new house and sell it for over $2 million.
Wow. So they're just big brick split level homes that are from the 70s. And they're just like, nope, bulldoze, big house.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Exactly.
Gabe's not here. He had one of those happen to him in Atlanta with his, they developer came and they put up for like 700 something. It's already torn down. Yeah. Not down here in Augusta though.
No. It's different.
It is. But you really attacked the luxury market from the beginning. Okay. And so 10 years later, where do you stand? Like what do you think really worked well for you?
Networking. I'm from Houston. And so I really focus on, relationships. Cause like real estate is all about like building your relationships with people. And just, it's more than the transaction. Like I always, if I wasn't friends with a client before we started working together, like we always end up being friends, like by the end of it. Cause it's such an emotional time, like whether you're buying a new house or selling your home. And, clients of mine whose kids have gone to college and they want a fresh start, but it's also so bittersweet. They're like, oh, this is the house I've raised my children in. And just being able to be there for them. And I think as a parent too, I can relate to my clients. Well, as a parent now, like on a different level, like where you're like, oh, I can see why, this is so hard for you, or this is so exciting. Like you have another baby and you want to find a bigger house. And so I think it's really those relationships that have like really helped me grow my business. And I also really love what I do, which I think is important because it helps me be the best real estate agent I can be because I love it. Yeah. And then another thing that's helped me the past 2 years, I told you a little bit about this, is Instagram.
Right.
I've really grown my following, and I've gotten new clients from Instagram. And a lot of it is just, I try to be as informative as possible, like give out like free advice and tips and different things like for home buyers or home sellers, or, things you might want to do now to sell your home the summer, little, like little things like that. And then people are like, oh, she knows what she's doing. She's like the authority, and then they come to me and they want me to help them.
And it wasn't, you were not a big Instagram person before. No, right? You just kind of said, I want to try this little home tour thing, and it started picking up steam, right?
It started picking up. Like I literally would just like record myself like going through houses and say, this one's listed for this. Like, let me know if you want a tour. And it really just started like taking off. And I was like, oh, people do want to see these tours. And then I started showing up more on video, which at first I was like, oh God, I don't want to, I'll show all these houses, but I don't really want to be like on the video, talking and stuff. But now I'm like, because people like, they want to see you, they want to know you, they want to know about you. And I've really, so I had an Instagram that had like 300 followers. Okay. And I thought, okay, I don't want to start a new one for my business. Like I would rather just, because there's so many different opinions about should you have one for your family and, personal, and then one for your business. And I thought, this is who I am. Like I want people to see like me, my kids, like my volunteer work, like, what I love to do and like who I am as a person, and not just like my personal life and then my real estate, like, because they really do coincide like so much. And I mean, it has been such a huge success having them be on the same Instagram, like having one Instagram. Yeah. That makes sense.
So you're focused on one.
I don't have two because
you're splitting everything up, and it's you gotta re-log into one, log out, all the switch over,
passwords and all that.
They got like double verification, triple verification. Yes. It has to check in with your aunt if you're an actual person. Right. I mean, it's crazy.
No, I know.
Right, we had Bailey. She's another person on our team, and she and I were trying to figure out how to get her to log into my Google Calendar. I'm trying to transition to a Google Calendar. Shout out Betsy Davis. She's listening. She's like, Matt, just get a dang Google Calendar. I said, you know what? I am. And she told me that, 3 days ago? Something like that. I got a Google Calendar now.
Okay.
We're trying to log in, and it's asking for like 5,000 different ways. It's like, Matt, someone's trying to hack into you. I'm like, no, it's me, dude.
Oh, that is just, I've been trying to use my Google Calendar because I'm old. I still have a paper calendar.
You write everything down.
Because I like to be able to see it. Like I like to open my plate and have everything my whole month.
It's nice when you get to the end of the month and you go, look at all the stuff I did.
Right.
Maybe too much.
I know. But everything is transitioning to online and like calendar invites and all of that. And so I'm trying my best to do that too.
Exactly. And so what's your support system look like? I mean, in terms of like your systems, like, do you have, I'm sure you have an admin at this point. Okay. So like, what's your,
all of that, and my broker and.
And then when I called the Heather Shepherd, what am I getting to? So do you have an assistant, an admin? Do you have like any other people that are working with you
Yes.
directly?
Both of my brokers are so wonderful,
Okay.
and I work very closely with them.
Okay.
And we, any deal I have, I always like to get their opinion, on listing price or offer price, like different terms.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a really great team that we work closely together.
Okay.
And definitely.
Is your broker like a boutique kind of
It
brokerage?
is.
Okay. Okay.
It is. Yes.
How many agents are in this brokerage?
About 25.
25. Okay. Very boutique. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But I love it because it's local. It's, in Houston, we have an office. Like I go into my office, people are there, coworkers, my brokers, and it's just a really nice, like kind of tight knit, like, and a lot of really good support.
Okay. I love it.
So,
Okay.
it's nice. I'm really happy there.
I love it.
Definitely.
And tell me this. So it's kind of going back to the social media stuff. Do you do everything? Like, were you like in the bed, like editing the videos and stuff, or do you have help with all like the content creation? How was that side look like for you?
Okay. So I do a lot of it just from my iPhone. I have an assistant who she'll come with me and she'll film different things. I also have a videographer and a photographer, like for listings, like they'll take the listing photos for MLS. And so I do have a lot of support, but I'm the one that is posting like on my Instagram and like writing the captions and all of that. And I've started using ChatGPT a little bit for like inspiration. I don't like to copy and paste because I like for everything to be more personal and like original, but I've started, like I asked ChatGPT the other day, I was like, come up with 3 topics that luxury real estate buyers might want to learn about. And so it gave me some, and it's kind of a cool tool to experiment with. I don't know if have you tried it yet?
So here's going to be something that may be really solid for you. So if you Google like best luxury realtor in Houston. Okay. And you can go down and it'll actually, if you scroll down enough, it'll show you like, well, other people have Googled this. It'll be like 5 things they've Googled. Right. Wow. And you can copy and paste all of them in ChatGPT. Say, hey, this is what people are Googling in my area to find the best luxury realtor. What are some good things I can do to try to pick up on those searches as well?
Oh, how neat.
Oh,
I need to do that.
Yeah, there's so many ways to do it. I know there's probably 1,000 more little Google hacks and stuff, but that's something I picked up on not too long ago that you that's a powerful tool. And then if you want to try and like the personal touch, but try to get more assistance, more in-depth assistance. And we did it. We really focused on it for like a few days. And it's better now. Because it comes back so robotic and you can kind of know. But what you can say is, hey, I want you to write like me and give and talk to me like I would talk. Can you ask me like questions? Like ask me enough questions to where you can then think you can rewrite a blog in my tone. And then it'll start asking you questions.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to try that.
And then it becomes a little bit of a therapy session. You're like, oh wow, that was deep.
That was deep.
Like, what do you mean the trauma from my dog from passing away when I was 8 years old? Oh my gosh.
Okay, I need to do that. Okay, because I've heard people who will put in their goals and then they're like, come up with a daily plan for me to get to these goals. I haven't tried that yet, but
that's a good idea.
I don't know how that works, but I've just started.
That's actually not bad. Abby Grace, we got a new task. See, look at that. Look at us. We're just collaborating.
I'm any tips I can get or anything like that. I'm always like open to them because, I want to grow my business and using AI. A lot of people are starting to, have good results with that. But it kind of freaks me out a little bit just because I don't know. It's a little weird.
How crazy is?
I know.
Have you talked to it yet on the OpenAI app?
No.
There's if you go to you'll have it now, and you can select a voice assistant. And I'll be in the car and I'll go, hey, good morning. It's like, good morning, Matt. And it's like, I like the Australian guy. And
how funny.
yeah, it just sounds so fun. I think the Australian accent's the funniest thing in the world. I love it. I love it so much. And he'll talk to you while you're in the car, and you can do all your chat GPTing in the car while just talking to him. You can interrupt him. You can.
Okay, I need to do that.
You can have a back and forth, like, you go, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go first. I mean, seriously,
like it's an actual friend or something.
It's getting really, really, really friend-like.
Wow. Okay, that's something new I need to try.
Yes. So
interesting. Ooh.
Well, let's get into a little bit of a more serious, like everything's here is serious, but like a real down to earth topic. Talked about this at dinner last night. Okay. And one of the main things I'm super pumped about you being here is your knowledge in the Houston market. And Houston had Harvey.
Yes.
JJ Watt, man of the year, came in and raised $750,000 or maybe $750 million. I can't remember. And the whole thing, and everybody was just like Harvey was not expected, and Houston was not ready. And we went to bed Thursday night here. I had plans on Friday afternoon, Saturday morning. Like we were like ready to watch football. We had all sorts of cool plans, blah, blah, blah. And then we wake up Friday morning, all my trees are down and I have water dripping through the windowsills of my house. And my neighbor had a tree go through their ceiling. I mean, the whole area. We had, it was like 33,000 miles or 3.3 million miles of cable that had to be replaced. We had 33,000 telephone poles that had to be replaced and that were damaged and had to be reset. It's like 13.2 cubic million acreage yards, whatever, tons of trees. We were not ready. So there's a lot of parallel between what happened here and what happened in Houston.
Right.
And one of the biggest questions is, how is this going to affect the real estate market? Because people are like, oh, tree damaged properties. Oh my gosh. There's lots in neighborhoods because homes are being totaled. So there's lots coming up that are coming up. We're working on some right now. And I'm being asked, what do I do? What do I price it? We don't have homes. Right. So tell me about, just give me a synopsis of 2017 to like 2020, 2019, before the COVID boom and all that.
Yes.
Like what did you see in your market? What are some numbers? Just talk about all of it.
Okay. So in 2017, as you all know, that's when Harvey happened, and over 200,000 homes were just destroyed, like flooded, like just neighborhoods wiped out. People lost everything. Like it was devastating. There was over 1 trillion gallons of water in 4 days that flooded Houston.
Holy cow.
Yes. So as you can imagine, it was devastating to the city. And so what we saw after that was the rental market increased, like prices, like the demand for rentals, because people were trying to figure out, were they going to try to rebuild on their lot? Were they going to try to sell it? It was kind of one of those things where it was so shocking and devastating that we were just trying to help people get into some type of home that had lost everything. And so the rental market was doing great, and then close to the middle of 2018, people really started wanting to buy a home, whether it was a bigger home, or the most important thing for most people was buying a home in an area that didn't flood. And the problem with that is, the demand was up, but there weren't enough houses for sale. So the prices in these neighborhoods that didn't flood were skyrocketing, towards 2019. And then in 2019, that's when, the real estate boom happened. Like November of 2019, there were over 6,000 homes that were sold, and prices went up 3% from the year before. So you have all of these people that were renting or starting to get, money from their insurance, or maybe they've saved up for a year and can afford a more expensive home. And first-time home buyers, all these people are in the market, and there aren't enough homes in the areas that didn't flood. So the prices are going up. You have all these buyers, and you also have builders who started going into some of the areas and building up, like raising the elevation.
Okay, like 2 feet or whatever,
2 feet,
right?
2 feet over the 500 floodplain. So you have all of these houses being built, and then you also have like some next door that are like flooded and completely damaged.
Wow.
So 2019, you have the prices skyrocketing, so many buyers, and it just was an insane year. It was such a real estate boom for so many different reasons. And
was it 3% like just in November?
It was the prices over 2019 in general went up 3% from 2018.
Okay.
But just in November, there were over 6,000 homes sold.
So I imagine just in that month alone, the appreciation was
if you can imagine the whole year, that was a statistic that I remember reading. So basically the people who had bought before 2019 were really the ones that got in before the prices went up.
Okay.
And so that was just something looking back. I think people are like, wow, and a lot of people were really in shock, I think, after Harvey, and they were trying to decide, where am I going to go? What do I want to do? And more people also were moving into Houston to help with, because there were so many cleanup jobs needed and construction jobs. And so people were moving into Houston. So they needed houses too. And, it was just all of those factors that really went into this 2019 boom. And, interest rates were lower then too. And so that was another factor that
they're about we bought in 2019 and we were at 4.5, maybe 5.3% or something like that. I think my loan was 5.3 on our first house.
Was it?
It was. We because when the 2021 came around, we were like, oh yeah, refinance 3%.
Right.
We refinanced to pay off her student loans in 2021.
2021. Okay.
We had 30 grand in student loans at 8%, or we could just refinance it out of our house for 3%.
Perfect.
Just move it around, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Still paying for those loans, I guess, but we kind of paid them off in a way.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Definitely.
So it was,
definitely.
It was in our timeline now. So the hurricane happened August 2024. Sorry, September? Was it September 2024? 27, right? Yeah, right before October, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And then 2024. Now we're kind of getting into the middle of 2025. So 2026, we have a lot of that going on.
Right.
And we're expecting parallels, right? I don't think the devastation, y'all got hit by a category 4.
It was bad.
We were 2, 3, somewhere in the middle of that. Didn't have a ton of there were areas that flooded. We don't have the coastal, because Houston's kind of a coastal city.
It is. Galveston and yes.
There's beaches. Yeah. So
about an hour away.
Okay.
So
what's the main river? Because my understanding is they opened up they kind of had to force flood places to keep the levees intact.
Yes.
Right.
Well, they opened up, some of the levees. And then, we also have the bayous also, Gray's Bayou and Buffalo Bayou, and those were flooding also.
Okay.
And so it was a combination of so many different things, and outside of Houston, Kingwood flooded and some of the other areas too. So it wasn't just in this actual city.
It was everywhere.
Everywhere.
You just wake up going, what are we doing?
It was so bad.
Oh my gosh.
It was so bad. Thankfully, my house was fine, but we just had trees and, of course, just some roof damage and things like that. But it didn't actually, the water didn't come in and flood it. but there are a lot of people that lost everything.
Everything.
Like everything.
Yes.
And now another thing that people are finding is even today, like flood insurance and just home insurance, the prices are so high that whenever I have clients who are, buying a new house, I always have them get we always look into like how much home insurance is, homeowners insurance. And now because of Harvey, some of the insurance companies, like your roof has to be a certain age for them to insure your house. You have to have trees like trimmed. You have to,
really?
they really, when they come out to give you a quote, like all of those factors go into your price for your insurance. And the insurance prices are so expensive. Like some, first time home buyers can't afford to buy a house because they can't afford the insurance.
So this is my, when I have a really good point to make, Camera, I look right into it.
Oh.
So you're telling me when I tell you that your 3-tab composite shingle roof that's 12 years old is not going to be insurable, you may want to pay attention. Is that what I'm hearing, Heather?
That is exactly right.
Oh my gosh. Because that's what we're seeing right now.
Really?
And it's unfortunate. But the insurance companies, we have massive hail problems here. People treat insurance like a home warranty. And they're like, oh, hail damage. I'm never going to pay for a roof. I'll just wait for the hailstorm. And these insurance companies, they have if we want to demonize the insurance in the industry, like, oh, how dare they make money? It's a private business. Do I think it could be done better? Maybe.
Yes.
But it is what it is, and we depend on it, and they've got to do this for a living.
Right.
They're not idiots. They're going to change the way they do things because we're in an area that has had these things happen. We are a risk factor. Houston is a risk factor. And they've got to account for this.
Yes.
So, I'm sure by now it's sort of the norm in Houston dealing with these things.
It is.
But that transition, I'm sure, was a little shocking for a lot of people. And you've got some good stories.
It definitely was very shocking. And, now in some of the areas, some of them have been rebuilt. You have homes that are like raised up and you go up steps, to get to the porch, and they're on pier and beam now. So you don't have, the slab. And then, they
got rid of the slab construction.
A lot of it. Yes.
Really? Okay.
Because in these areas with the flooding, the pier and beam does better, raised up like that. And some areas that, like I was telling you, they still haven't recovered. Like you still drive through and there are houses that are deserted from the flooding.
Wow.
And years later, because some of the areas, people don't have the money to, they're not a desirable area.
It wasn't insured. The house was owned by a generational family, and
exactly.
I don't want to pay for insurance on it. Right. And boom, this happens, and you can't do anything with the house now.
Right.
Right.
So that's really sad to see. But, in the areas that didn't flood, those prices are still going up. Like
I'm surprised that like at this point now, I mean, we're almost on a 30-year for an age loop, but we're getting on, 7 years removed from the hurricane, and 8 years now, and there's houses that are just sitting there vacant. I mean, with the wholesaling going on and the investors and the cash buyers, we buy ugly homes. We work with a few different investors here. I'm surprised that they just haven't all been swallowed up at this point. I guess there's so many. Houston's a massive city.
Houston's huge,
and you just got to wait for people to be. Some people just need to still be willing to sell a piece of real estate for what makes sense to them.
Right. And it'll all happen. Houston there are always new areas like being developed, and because so many people are moving to Houston and there just aren't enough houses. And so there's constantly like construction and things going on. So, eventually it'll all be rebuilt and, probably something amazing. But
what are the biggest economic drivers for Houston right now?
Energy.
Okay.
And we have an amazing medical center. Like healthcare is a big
I think Todd is my buddy got cancer.
Oh
He
no!
has, like,
MD Anderson.
Yes. The cancer center. Yeah, he's been out in Houston a few times actually now.
Really?
Do you got any billboards out there by any chance? You have any billboards? Any big? Any
Me?
big? Yeah, you.
No.
No. Are realtors big with billboards out there?
I mean, some, but that's not really my vibe. Like, I prefer, like, I don't know. I don't, that's not really.
Yeah,
I don't really want my face up on like a freeway.
Not just for a little bit, just once to see how it just to see. Yeah.
Because I try to be very specific about my like niche, like with certain, because that way I can focus on like my clients and I don't have time actually to do I can't drive an hour to go show a house. Like I'm sure Houston's
Houston,
so big.
An hour can get you pretty much nowhere depending on time of traffic.
Right. So I really focus on in Houston and you know what I mean? Just because with everything, I would hate to spread myself so thin where I'm in the car for hours trying to go show a house. But yeah, Houston, 30 minutes can either get you a few miles away or depending on traffic.
Yes. Yes.
It's crazy. It's just
30 minutes can get you to the lake up here. We enjoy
so wonderful.
We enjoy the I tell people when I see someone comment about our traffic here, I just laugh. I've grown up here. Are you a Houston native? So
I am.
You just know how where things ebb and flow. And here, we enjoy the infrastructure that's been built around this golf tournament. And we have Masters here.
Yes.
And we have this infrastructure that's been built up, and we get to enjoy that infrastructure all year long.
Right.
But it's really just built to handle the traffic that we have for that week.
Okay. So Matt, I've heard real estate during the Masters week is crazy.
It is.
Can you please tell us, everybody in Houston, we're dying to know what exactly goes on because we love watching the Masters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So big golf, bunch of golf fans in Houston.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell us, please.
It's coming up. It'll be live. This will probably go live a little bit after in May.
Okay.
May. But I'll tell you this: what's wild about this tournament week is the hospitality section.
Okay.
So there are a lot of people, probably an alarmingly large amount of people who whose lifestyle here is propped up by that week. Seriously, there are people who make all their money in a 10 to 12 day span around this golf tournament. It's a Super Bowl of golf. And there are people, and I know some of these people, and I've talked smack to you because I know you. And they depend on this tournament. People come into their house, they go to the beach and they'll come in and they'll rent their homes out for $30, $40, $50, $100,000.
That is unbelievable.
So their $1 million mansion is propped up by a dang golf tournament. Yeah, it's crazy. That's what they depend on.
Gosh, that is so interesting. Wow. And so you said that you have some rental properties that you rent out.
Yeah. You have the cash flow, right? You're like, okay, my bank note's $1,000 a month.
Right.
I can rent it for $1,500 to $1,700 a month. And, by the way, I can kick that tenant out. Not kick out. We kindly ask them to vacate with a very strongly worded contract. Right. Very strongly worded.
Please leave.
Please leave for the week. We'll give you April. We'll give you $1,000 off the rent, or we'll give you the whole rent free if you need to be gone. And because we're bringing in people that are going to rent it for $1,000, $2,000 a night on a small rental property.
Incredible.
And then we have the Augusta rule tax loop thing. There's a reason for the rule, but Augusta just really takes good advantage of it. And because of it, do it correctly, it's tax-free income.
Gosh, that is incredible. So your rental properties make even more money.
Send your investors my way. It's a very good opportunity. And the what's really cool about it is it's the banks can't account for that rental income property that week.
Right.
So your cash buyers and then people even for financing, it keeps that market pretty in check where it could be. So your rental properties really that are doing this should really be valued much higher, but they're not.
Oh.
That cash flow can't really be accounted for.
Interesting.
Right. Mm-hmm. You get
Okay. Well, I work with real estate. I am biased probably, but I feel like it is the best investment.
Mm-hmm.
Owning land, owning a house. Like I always encourage like clients if they have, extra cash or extra money to put it into a rental house because
Mm-hmm.
in Houston, there are first time home buyers that can't afford a house like in an area that they want to live in. But, there are some rental houses and they can still get into that house, into the school district by renting a house. So it really pays off if you can afford it to buy a house in these areas and lease it out.
Lease it out. It's a great investment that pays the best dividends on earth.
It does.
Yep.
It really. Well, that's such great information. I'm going to pass that along to some, might be sending some clients your way to invest in Augusta.
Plane tickets paid for.
Fly them out here to go house hunting.
We'll do it all day. We'll do it all day. Good. So Heather, what is next? What are some goals for you this year? What's next? Like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to be?
So I really am just trying to grow my business. My goal originally was like 15 million in sales this year. So I'm still like aiming for that.
You're way beyond that.
So I'm on
pace-wise.
track for that. I want to keep growing, like helping more people and just getting new clients and connecting with off market, like meeting new homeowners and just expanding my network really.
Okay.
I love to volunteer, like, and just meeting new people. And I've been in charge of the spirit store for my neighborhood Little League.
Spirit store.
My boys'
What
baseball.
Is this? Tell me this.
So it's like baseball, like swag, like, like t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats,
It's a big fundraiser.
and all the money goes to the Little League and it's in the neighborhood where I live. And so it's super fun. And 2 years ago, we did a whole like rebrand and like kind of lots of new swag. And I've met new friends and new clients through my volunteering and just being involved in the community. I mean, you're very involved here.
Maybe too involved.
Yeah. Well, you love it. I mean, you can tell you're passionate about Augusta. And that's how I feel about Houston. I mean, I grew up there. My family's there and I love it. I'm always like, going and seeing new restaurants and new stores and different things like that.
The whole shebang.
The whole shebang. So
I love it.
Oh, and I started a YouTube channel.
How's that going?
Well, I only have one episode. We're recording another episode this Friday, but I'm hoping that will help reach people like moving to Houston. And just a different crowd than maybe my Instagram.
What's the YouTube channel name?
HS Homes Houston.
HS Homes Houston.
And
I love it.
I'm going to showcase like luxury properties, do neighborhood highlights. And so that's a big goal of mine to grow that this next year. A new exciting project.
That's the big thing we're focusing on for 2025. We're getting the YouTube page popping. I'm talking you. Your YouTube page.
Yes. That's one of my big goals.
I love it.
And keep my Instagram consistent and just grow because I love Houston. And I feel like I always say like I'm the Houston neighborhood specialist because I grew up there and I really know all the different areas. And because you can go like, if you're in one area and you go like 5 minutes away, like you can cross over into another area that might not have like the police or the fire department that the other, few blocks over has.
Oh, so matters.
It matters.
Insurance,
and the taxes, insurance and property taxes change. And when so it's really important that you know the areas and know the neighborhoods as a realtor.
Okay.
And I really like pride myself on that. So I worked with a buyer moving to Houston last summer and I helped her over FaceTime, find a home.
Oh yeah,
And so
virtual showings.
that was exciting. Yeah, that was my first time to do like only virtual showings.
Like, which is we're buying a $3 million house through a video care feed. Wow.
And they're so happy. So it worked out, but it made me kind of nervous. I was like, are you sure? Like,
do it.
But yeah, okay.
Well, Heather, it's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate you coming on and telling us about this, just the Houston market, a little bit about yourself. And
yes.
And we're going to wish you the best, and we're going to stay in touch.
Definitely.
And we'll see you at some conferences, I'm sure. We'll reconnect. I'm looking forward to the years and years of all this. And
I know.
Just thank you so much. Seriously. I mean, genuinely, thank you so much for coming out here and taking time out of your busy schedule to just talk about what you have seen, because that's going to really help the people in our market make some really tough decisions that they have coming these next 18 months. Seriously.
Definitely.
So, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm
All right.
so honored to be here. Thank you.